Japan, if they win it here, I'm sure everyone at home is with me with this. Dan, you're smiling as well.
Of course. I would love to see him not retire.
I love spreading rumours. Especially when there's no base whatsoever behind them. Well, here we go then. We're into match number 3, everybody. E-District is where we find ourselves.
But will we see those teams that have prioritized the POI draft for these 3 matches in a row? Can they actually get some points? Can they reap those rewards that they set? Or are we going to see Alliance dominate yet again? Already 39. You spent too much time with Blaze. 39 points
already on the board.
Yeah, 39 points already, an incredible amount. Remember, the points total is going to be important here because when we think about POI draft going into the finals, at the moment, 117 is the total. And I'm sure there are some fans of other games that will be happy about that total, but that is what's going to be set from yesterday. If you can beat that and win your group, you would then get #1 in the POI draft.
When we get a little bit of ring console information, we're going to know where this zone is going to be going. Maybe up towards a little bit of Galleria, maybe a little bit of Alliance. Potentially. Heights is an option as well. You can see that zone just pulling off the edge of the map as well. So when we do get that information, it's going to give us a little bit of a clearer picture. Good luck reading it off the first zone, because that looked pretty tough to read.
Very tough to read off the first, but yeah, you saw it correctly. It is going to be moving onto that eastern side, and that's what I was mentioning about Heights as well. When Virtus.pro, they selected it, they are hoping for one of those zones to come their way, because they should be a surefire team to get to one of those final circles if it does pull all the way over. But of course, you are hoping and you are praying. Now, we are seeing a few teams starting to move quite early. 100 Thieves, for example, are moving pretty fast. Gaming Gladiators have got all the information they wanted as well, both from the ring console and the survey beacon, thanks to Watson and Sparrow.
So going to have an Evo cache pretty close to them, so we'll be able to pick that one up, the little harvester. Will be on blue, I believe, very, very soon. So
let's check out that way.
GG have had a bit of an up and down, I would say. Not only Pro League, but qualification process. A lot of hype, understandably, when Funk came over. Second place back in Sapporo. Almost won the whole thing. Alongside Slayer and Sweet on that Luminosity Gaming roster. But moves over to EMEA. Joins this roster who, of course, dropped Lufka as well, who really did make a name for himself as one of the best Newcastle players in the world on this lineup. A huge amount of success back in Germany, which feels like some time ago now. And of course things have changed, but still an opportunity for them to show that it was the right move and that they're going to be able to perform here in Riyadh.
This is going to get interesting on the north here. 100 Thieves have decided to try and push underneath Virtus.pro, but Alliance are going to be in the same area as well, and I think they're all going to be okay with the positions they've taken. And really, all of them are just going to separate, take buildings, but they're all playing the similar area here, the kind of northeast area up towards Heights. So great news for Virtus.pro that everyone else kind of thinks, yes, this is going towards Heights as well.
Something to highlight as well, just when we're talking about compositions and legends, you're going to see a lot of Watson in this game, but probably not much after this game, as we do a little bit of quick maps to confirm if that is going to be the next legend that is going to be banned. But Watson here on E-District, probably, I would say, not just one of the strongest characters full stop at the moment, as we actually see an EMP going in. It looks like Alliance want to have a little peek at 100 Thieves.
I said it was going to be interesting. I thought they'd be happy with the buildings they had, but Alliance clearly want to take 100 Thieves out of this spot. Well, they did.
Well, Alliance just pressurizing at the moment. You can see 100 Thieves, 2 white armors as well, so they've made a quick rotate. Hackis, as you say, lets the dogs off the lead. Trying to push in here. Purple Bolt, double Mozams. And the accelerator, an effect full of confidence. It's usually a recipe for success in this circumstance, though. 100 Thieves do manage to hold.
Great hold.
As scary as that was for them.
Really impressive hold, especially for Phony, who was in the corner. You are so vulnerable there if they are able to peek, but 100 Thieves made sure they had those angles to reduce the opposition angle so they couldn't get in and peek easily. And even though Effect did get aggressive, it's because he knew he had the backup of going through that portal if things went wrong. So Alliance will back out. They won't take that fight, but they really wanted to take advantage of their armor situation.
Yeah, I think they also want to take advantage of the fact that they have a huge amount of points on the board already, right? So you're more than willing to take a little bit more of a risk in an early game situation, knowing that you've already got some points in the bank.
Team Liquid have just taken down one member of Unlimit. Looks like they want to try and follow up with even more, as Unlimit look like they might be falling out of the lobby first here, or at least 2 of them will, but there might be a follow-up and maybe a third party, but it looks like it's going to be trying to escape here.
And then Nurkic just trying to slide their way here, trying to escape, and Team Liquid are going to have to forget about that kill and try and stay alive, because look who is arriving. It's going to be Evo's here. The EMEA powerhouse, who have really impressed, some of the newest names that we have seen in the EMEA region really coming to the fore, and certainly a player to keep an eye on that team is going to be Nate, and he's the one who gets the knock onto Jaguares as well. MG Clutch, big rank grinder, now jumps into the competitive scene, and the young man looking for his first kill as well.
Looking to get aggressive just to make sure they finish that one off to take these all down. But still, 20 squads still remain, so the stragglers are able to escape, and maybe they'll be able to get back up to a full 3 a little bit later on. But these are a lot of fights that are happening on the north, and I don't think it's over yet, because Shopify Rebellion, now hearing this commotion, they're having a look.
Yeah, Evo's nice and healthy, though. MG Clutch is backing down, and I think they're just trying to create a little bit of space between themselves and Shopify Rebellion here, so that Shopify have to think twice about crossing towards them. I think Shopify probably thought, their third-party opportunity isn't as juicy as we originally thought. NRG, though, just had Timmy knocked.
I do wonder how Shopify Rebellion are going to play over there as well, because Liquid and Unlimited are both going to be playing a similar area on the north, but now JD Gaming are going to get aggressive here.
Oh, they are indeed. Sykes is going to have his shields ripped apart. He stays on his feet for now, but he's going to be absolutely swarmed, and Sykes trying to do what he can to stay alive. Maybe just trying to buy a little bit of time here for Gil to get out, but now a third party arrives, or at least some shots from distance do. It's going to be RRX and Razy who's going to be that player, as NRG won't be able to escape, and NRG will be eliminated.
First team to go down. And that one's going to sting, because you just have to wait that extra time watching and waiting for match number 4. Now, you saw the shots coming through, and that's because this area now is so swarmed with teams and people. Everyone has made their way over towards Heights, and it is going to continue to pull that way a little bit further northeast. So a correct read from the likes of Alliance and 100 Thieves, but I wouldn't expect anything otherwise from 2 of the best IGLs around.
Crazy Raccoon on the southern side of the zone at the moment, just trying to creep their way in. They've got JD Gaming in front of them, and they have to work their way towards where this next zone's going to be going, but they will be safe. They don't have to do too much for now. Shopify Rebellion up on height. You can see them right now. A little bit of a slow start for them, even though game number 2 was much improved. And they're kind of between 2 members of Team Liquid who have split at the moment, trying to think about getting up to a full complement of 3 again.
They have just got ring console information as well, have Shopify Rebellion, so that was kind of why they were playing out here. They realized they had the entirety of the north, apart from the solo stragglers they maybe had seen going for the res. But Unlimited have gone back up to a full 3. As you said, Liquid just a 2. So clearly something went wrong. Maybe actually Shopify Rebellion found one of them.
Yeah, I think they might have hit the server beacon as well, which is going to give them that information. 2 members of Shopify Rebellion moving towards Electro Dam, where they might realize there's 1 solo. And 1 player from Shopify Rebellion just clearing their backs and thinking, hey, we've got enough space between us now and that second player from Team Liquid to probably just try and collapse onto the 2 players who are being respawned. So Shopify might have read this really, really cleverly.
Yeah, Shopify being very aggressive onto some of these teams that are struggling a little bit. As we can look back at how JDG took down NRG, you can see why they were being aggressive as well. They saw there was a little bit of vulnerability there, and they made sure they capitalized on some kills that were presented to them. There was a lot of teams in the area that kind of helped out with a little bit of damage here or there.
The CR back on this southern side have worked their way past JD Gaming and are now controlling this little choke. Elsewhere, Team Liquid, who we mentioned, a split on the map. Well, they might be about to be down to 2 players once again, because Neazul is caught between 3 members of Unlimited here. They're going to be very easily able to deal with him, and he will have to go back to the respawn screen and probably watch from the lobby, because I'm not sure they're going to be able to get that banner.
Yeah, there is a crafter next to Galleria, but outside, I mean, maybe you can get the back in, but it's just so difficult at this stage of the game because there's going to be so many teams coming through. And especially Shopify Rebellion, they're going to be on the hunt, remember, because I feel like that's part of their game plan here, is to try and find some extra kills on edge. The teams that are trying to respawn and get back into the game because they're going to be naturally quite weak. But one of those teams hovering around Galleria is going to be Evo's as well. Remember earlier, we saw them join in on that fight that forced the likes of Liquid and Unlimited out.
Well, Liquid have found another crafter, by the way, on their way through Energy Bank, so they might be able to get back up to 3, but they have Unlimited on their backs, who are going to be hunting them down, and if a respawn goes down, you imagine they will push that very, very quickly. Back towards center zone, though, and S8UL are in a great spot underneath here. Newcastle wall down, Gen down, intercept some pylon, and some nice beautiful buzzing fences. We're in a pretty good spot. Very difficult to push that one.
Yeah, they'll be fine for quite some time. Instead, it's those who are forcing their way into the ring at the moment that are really struggling. VK Gaming should be somewhat comfortable here as well. They have a portal to play with just to try and reposition and find another safe haven. But there is a little bit of conflict happening on the western side. Shopify Rebellion and Evos currently are facing up against one another.
Team Liquid. Still 2 players alive. I think they haven't tried to stick the reses yet because they saw that Unlimit were wrapping behind them and knew that they were probably going to suffer the same fate should they have gone for that res immediately. So Liquid are wrapping all the way now through Energy Bank down to the southern side. Unlimit probably still looking for them because they did see one player. But with a minute left on the clock, they're going to have to start thinking about getting in towards this zone as opposed to hunting down Team Liquid.
Yeah, Evos have just retreated away from Shopify Rebellion as well, as Team Liquid will get the respawn onto Nizel, which might draw some attention away, but Evos are running at Unlimit.
Certainly are indeed. Singapore goes down as well to try and force them away from that position. Fuso isn't great though.
It was bad.
And Unlimit now find themselves in a position where they've managed to essentially stall out this fight to the point where they're healthy enough to at least fight back. But that spray from MG Clutch from the high ground off the back of the EMP, and he goes to work. Unlimit eliminated, and Evos pick up more KP.
And I think Evos have just given Team Liquid a chance to get back into the game as well, because otherwise I think Unlimit would have been hunting down Liquid. They were tracking them for quite some time. And now Liquid back up to 3. And actually, a couple of members from Liquid are having a little peek over towards this to see if there's any stragglers. But I think they'll soon realize they need to focus on getting into the zone. Shopify Rebellion have done exactly that. They've moved from the northwest and they have traversed into the zone. So it's only going to be Evos and Liquid outside of the circle right now.
This is interesting now because Liquid are ahead. Think about what's just happened, right? Evos have just used so many ultimates. We saw MG Clutch popping a couple of ult excels to try and get his ultimate back, but they expended everything in that fight. And if Liquid have got a couple of ults available and they don't, Liquid could hold them out in this situation. Twisted Minds, though, inside the zone, trying to hold out the likes of Go Next and potentially Team Liquid in a few moments' time. Elsewhere, you can see the SBI having a little bit of a struggle with Zainu, has managed to take down 2 for SR.
Yeah, Shopify Rebellion just forced their way into zone and bullied SBI out of the building. Like, genuinely said, here's the eviction notice, get out, this is ours now. Because Alliance were also unlucky, were sent out just to do a little bit of a scouting mission. Took a lot of damage, so they'll go back to the position they took right at the start of the game. But it is not going to be safe after this zone. It is going to transition a little bit further south, but still going towards the east, and then south again, which actually is going away from Heights, which is going to be great news for the likes of S8UL, who we checked in with earlier. They are pretty much bang center of the zone.
Yeah, bang center zone in a really easily defendable spot as well. You saw they had cover from everywhere. Only 2 areas that they could be attacked from, and they've got the Newcastle wall, they've got the Watson. It's so difficult to siege that particular area they're playing. Speaking of sieges, it's going to be Go Next versus Twisted Minds. And inside this building, we are seeing an exchange of fire as enemy will pick up the first knock onto Kinda.
Yeah, Twisted Minds have the advantage here, but as we've already seen, a 2 versus 3 is still very winnable. As long as you play it correctly and you play it together, there is going to be a crack on both sides, but Twisted Minds still going for aggression here.
They certainly are indeed. Abralele, though, is down to 1 HP. Annam, he's the last one alive, can't get it down. And we Go Next, who are eliminated. Everybody from Twisted Mind stays on their feet in that fight as well, which means they should be able to reset pretty comfortably.
There's 17 teams left, and here is one of them. It's going to be Team Liquid. They hear what's happening, they get involved, but enemy's taking Yanya down.
Yanya gets absolutely destroyed, but it will be Twisted Minds who unfortunately cannot hold off the follow-up barrage that comes from Jaguares and Nizel. For a second there, that looked a bit shaky, but I think just the armor disadvantage and the HPs not being reset the way the Twisted Minds would have been wanted to, just like they could get away with that one.
Team Liquid finding the red helmet was absolutely huge for that fight as well. Gave them so much confidence to be able to push in. And I think it was just the amount of damage they were able to do and the lack of healing that was able to have been done previously as well. They were pretty weak going into that fight against Liquid, but Liquid have to move fast because the zone is coming in, and this kill feed is going to light up a little bit because there are about 8 teams who are not within this next zone.
Yeah, all of them at the moment are on that northern side. And Alliance are one of those teams. Let's jump into the comms with Alliance.
Jenny close. We'll get close. Yeah, right. She's on red. Try the buff. Okay. On here. I'm dead. Oh, bro. Good luck. Yeah, I'm dead. He dropped down by there. I'm trying to play him alive. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm dead. Told you. We get shot back. Getting pit. Getting pit.
They're still looking. Lucas rising below you.
Go, go, go.
No, nice shot.
No,
I mean,
guys, we gotta listen to the. We need to gender. As soon as they nade, just gun.
Not the greatest of moments there for Alliance. Certainly not what we saw for them in the previous game, but hey, you can't get it right every single time. A tough rotate for them from that northern side.
We just saw about 4 teams drop as well. 100 Thieves being one of those. So winners from match 1 and from match 2, both taken out in a very similar time. And now Virtus.pro get to play peekaboo from above. And Evos get eliminated, so that's going to be extra kills across the board. It was actually VKG, I think, finished off those kills in the end, but it is going to give away their position to Virtus.pro. Now remember, Virtus.pro dropped over towards Heights, but now they have to start making their own rotation and try and find their way south.
Yeah, a little bit of space on that northern side, but for not long are they going to be able to sit there. Shopify Rebellion now pushing onto that position. We talked about that fortified spot that SAUL have held down for quite some time. The sprays and the suppression is starting to hurt SAUL here, but they're holding on for now. But now the swing's going to come in, and this is why Zainu is such a special talent. Picks his moment perfectly. SAUL are evicted.
That red armor getting past to Shopify Rebellion after I assume they took down Team Liquid whilst we were amidst the Alliance POV just earlier. RRX will go down as well, so now it's just 9 squads remaining, and there's a few teams trying to make their way to center zone at the moment. Actually, 3 teams just took a portal at the same time. VKG, Fusion, and Crazy Raccoon all in that center zone.
VP trying to kind of tiptoe their way forward. They're pointed to the edge of this zone, but as you can see in the top left, they now have 45 seconds to decide what that next move is going to be. But this is how busy the center of where this game will be ending is. The shops are full, and VKG have set up a little food stand of their own just on the outside.
So many fences as well, and that is not all of Fusion's fences, by the way. There are fences from every single team in this area, all combined, and it looks like they've set up a fort to share, really, at this point. These 3 teams will not be worrying about one another right now. It will be focusing outward. It will be stopping teams from being able to push in.
Look at the lack of attachments here for Fusion as well, so they've done a really good job. You imagine 2 players have been rezzed in the game to get into that position. On the northern side though, GG, JD and VP all have to move very soon, and VK are holding them out now relentlessly. Shots coming in from the 30-30 to try and pick up KP. VP cannot make it in. They will be the next team to go.
Yeah, that's a shame from a zone that was really handy and close to them, but you can see VK just trying to get eyes on these teams that are pushing in.
Fences!
There are so many points available here.
The fences are just stopping them moving anywhere. GG can't make it forward. They will be eliminated next as we go down to 7. Fusion now trying to make their move. Trying to see if there's an opportunity for some KP, but having recognized the reset to come in, they now retreat back to their little hidey hole.
Worth noting, Fusion and VKG are running the Newcastle. Could be very important here in this final circle as rival esports go down. But we do have 4 crypto still alive as well. Might be able to deal with some of these fences that are being a nuisance.
One thing that's really interesting to highlight here for everybody, on the eastern side of the zone, ROC control all of it. Shopify Rebellion on the western side of the zone control all of it. JD Gaming on the north, all that space, but in the center, these 3 teams we're focusing on are so shoulder to shoulder that it's allowing those 3 other teams on the perimeter to have so much freedom.
And look where the zone is finishing. It is finishing bang center, closest to VK, Fusion, and Crazy Raccoon. But of course, they all do have to slightly move out. But they do not have to be the first to move. They can wait and force the likes of SR, JD, or ROC to actually make the move first.
Shopify Rebellion having to make their move forward now. They're trying to fence across and almost trap Fusion into this position. ROC start to step forward a little bit themselves, and they're going to have a lovely little wall to play here. That fence line is going to be so good for them, as also Deeds making his teammates extremely happy by getting a little pick there with that 30-30 as well. And Vaxelon delivering a little present, though he's not going to be well received by VKG.
This first EMP is going to be a very impactful one as well, but every team is trying to save it right now. They don't want to pop it too early. They want it to help them in the fight they're eventually going to have, not just to destroy some equipment.
ROC have most space in this zone. JD did manage to move down from the north side. They're still alive. Nobody has fallen in the last 30 to 40 seconds as the zone starts to singe, starts to burn, and starts to chop away at the heels of all these teams.
And here comes the EMPs, perhaps, unless the drone got destroyed, which it may have. Here comes the second one as an attempt, though, as everyone now starting to pop up. Goodbye, Watson Fences.
And now you can see the likes of Fuse become very, very influential in these fights. Shopify Rebellion now, it's MT on his own, 5 HP or so. They are eliminated. ROC and Epsilon with the clutch.
May have time to get the res here, though, because everyone else, no, he won't. It's a big send, and it's an important send as well to shut down ROC.
Yeah, Crazy Raccoon swing out of this busy hut-based area and claim the space for themselves. Fusion now up onto the top, onto the tiles, up onto their tippy toes on this hut. January firing blind, but can't connect. Fusion eliminated as VK will hold, and most importantly, all three stay up.
Yeah, Crazy Raccoon now going to have that southern side. They have the wall to work with here, but they don't want to push up too quickly. They want the other teams to fight first.
Crazy Raccoon firing through the fences, hoping that they're not going to be stunned for long enough to get some shots down, but it's VK Gaming, and it goes to a 1v1. It's St. Jude with the opportunity to swing, with the opportunity to clutch, but they cannot do it, and VK Gaming will win your match number 3.
VK Gaming did so well to dominate space very early.